previously talked about the President of India and how he has such an important role in the Indian executive. Now you must be thinking, what all qualifications are needed to be the President? What are the criteria that a person has to qualify for to be a candidate for the presidential elections? Well, the Constitution says that anyone who's contesting for the President should be eligible to be a member of the Lok Sabha. So we've already learned about the eligibility criteria for becoming a member of the Lok Sabha. So as we proceed, you will see that the conditions for becoming a presidential candidate are just the same. By that rule, the first condition is that he should be a citizen of India. We've previously talked about King George I, who was born and brought up in Germany but went on to rule England. He was very unsuccessful as a ruler and very unpopular. So the ruler or the president or prime minister of a country should be a citizen of that country, because only then would he be understanding the needs, the requirements, the traditions, the culture and the thought process of the people of the country. Otherwise, he must be very indifferent to the needs and demands of the people. And hence, the presidential candidate who will go on to become the president needs to understand the problems and demands of the people of the country. Secondly, he should not have any criminal record. Now, the President of India is a very important post, and he's the face of the country, and he even represents the country internationally. So someone with a criminal history or a criminal record should not be allowed to become the president. Just like we had studied in the Lok Sabha, a person who has a criminal past and has served a sentence for 2 or less years can be allowed to contest here also. Thirdly, he must be a voter for any parliamentary constituency in India, which means that the candidate should have his name enrolled in any of the electoral rolls of the country. This would prove that he is a regular voter. The most important duty that we have as citizens of a democracy is to elect our representatives who will run the government. So, being in the electoral roll or a voter in a parliamentary constituency means that we are responsible citizens who regularly vote and make up the government to run the country. Next, he should not be of unsound mind. Now, the Constitution doesn't clearly define the term unsound mind, but we can understand it in terms of not having mental stability or in terms of mental illness. A president is a very important role and he has a lot of duties to perform. So someone who is not mentally stable or has some mental illness would probably not be able to execute these huge functions responsibly. The president's role is significant because how he performs his duties affects or impacts the whole nation. So the presidential candidate should not be of unsound mind. Then the presidential candidate should be able to meet his financial needs. This will ensure that the presidential candidate is a responsible citizen of India and he has financial stability. This will also ensure that he is stable enough and can take over the responsibilities that come with being the president. When we have talked about the eligibility of the members of Lok Sabha, we had studied that he cannot hold an office of profit under the government of India or the government of any state. Similarly, the presidential candidate should not hold an office of profit under the government of India or the government of any state. This will ensure that the president does not get influenced by his other position. But in the presidential election, a person is not deemed to hold an office of profit in case he is the president or vice president or governor or a minister, either for the union or for any state. What does this mean? This means that a president, that is an already serving president, can recontest elections for the next president. If he is re-elected, then he will become the president again. Similarly, for the vice president, governor or the minister for union or state, they can also contest for the election. But since you know that the president is not a member of either house, the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha or the state legislatures, they will have to leave their positions as an MP or an MLA before they become the president. That is, if they are elected as president, they will have to vacate their earlier office before entering as the president. Next, a person holding the position of speaker in the Lok Sabha or in the state assembly can also contest for the presidential elections. Do you know who Meera Kumar is? She's the first woman speaker of the Lok Sabha. In the 2017 presidential elections, Meera Kumar was an important candidate who contested against Ramnath Kovind. Similarly, a MP or an MLA can contest for the presidential elections. But like we studied earlier, once these members are elected as the president, they will have to vacate their earlier office before they go on to work as the president. The age eligibility for a presidential candidate is 35 years. So he should have completed the age of 35 years. We've studied that the age eligibility for Lok Sabha is 25 years. So this is where it is different for the presidential candidate. The president is a much higher position and he represents the whole nation. So he needs to be more mature and have an experience of being in the political circle. That is why the age eligibility is higher than that of a Lok Sabha member. But you must be knowing that the Prime Minister in India has to be a member of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. But the eligibility criteria of the Lok Sabha is 25 years. So someone can become a Prime Minister even at 25 years. In our country, we have a parliamentary system where the Prime Minister has the real powers and the President has only ceremonial powers. So someone can become a President only at 35 years, while he can become a Prime Minister even at 25 years. What do you think about this? Now, can you answer this question? What is the minimum age to successfully contest for the presidential election? Is it 25 years, 35 years, 30 years or 40 years? Yes, it is 35 years. A person has to be at least 35 years of age to contest for the presidential election. Now, even if someone has fulfilled all of the criteria required to be a presidential candidate, he will still not be eligible. Why? Because a presidential candidate needs to be proposed by 50 members of the electoral college and seconded by another 50 members. What do you think this means? It means that at least 50 members of the electoral college, that is the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the state legislative assemblies, have to propose the name of the candidate as a presidential candidate. And another 50 members of the electoral college has to second. That is, they have to agree that the proposed candidate that the proposers have suggested is the one that they are supporting. This is because the president needs his friends and supporters to prove that he is a proper candidate. And no one can just for the sake of being a presidential candidate contest himself. Now we've learnt about all of the qualifications that are needed to be a presidential candidate. So he should be a citizen of India, he has to be 35 years of age at least, and he has to have all of the qualifications needed to be a member of the Lok Sabha. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.